I have predicted every single game of the 2024 NFL season. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Who's going to go home empty-handed? Let's go ahead and dive into my AFC West predictions for the 2024 season. Alright, now before we do dive into this, I do want to take just 1 minute here real quick to say I do apologize for the lack of content over the last couple days. Things have been a little bit crazy, things have been a little bit hectic. Ended up shooting my first 300 in bowling. For those of you guys who don't know, I do bowl, so, things have been really crazy these last couple days, just trying to get things situated, get things organized. But, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this, and I'll get more videos out this week for you guys. But let's dive into the Chiefs. Alright, starting off with the Kansas City Chiefs here. At home, the defending Super Bowl champions, I have them beating the Broncos, beating the Raiders, losing to the Chargers, losing to the Ravens, beating the Bengals, beating the Saints, losing to the Buccaneers, and beating the Texans. On the road, I have the Chiefs following up this home performance with a win over Denver, a loss to the Raiders, a loss to the Chargers, but they end up beating the Falcons, beating the Panthers, beating the Browns, beating the Steelers, but then lose to the Bills and they lose to the 49ers to finish off at 10-7. Very competitive for the AFC West, but will it be enough? Let's find out. Up next, let's go ahead and talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, who have finally hired Antonio Pierce as their full-time head coach. How does this change things for them? Well, at home, I have the Raiders beating the Broncos, beating the Chiefs, losing to the Chargers, beating the Falcons, beating the Panthers, losing to the Browns, losing to the Steelers, and beating the Jaguars. After this roughly 500 stretch, a little bit over 500 stretch at home, on the road, I have the Raiders losing to the Broncos, losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Chargers, losing to the Ravens, losing to the Bengals, beating the Saints, losing to the Buccaneers, losing to the Dolphins, and losing to the Rams. Unfortunately, they hit a 6-11 season, but they will have a tough schedule. Both the Buccaneers and the Rams are starting to come back. You have the Chargers who have hired Jim Harbaugh now. I expect the Bengals to bounce back, and the Ravens are always going to be the Ravens. A tough road schedule for them, but that's how it goes in football. Up next, let's go ahead and talk about the Denver Broncos, who are in quarterback limbo right now. Not sure if Russell Wilson's still going to be staying. How does this change things? Well, let's go ahead and get into their home games, where I have the Broncos losing to the Chiefs, beating the Raiders, beating the Chargers, losing to the Falcons, beating the Panthers, losing to the Browns, losing to the Steelers, and losing to the Colts. On the road, I have the Broncos following this rough home performance with a loss to the Chiefs, loss to the Raiders, loss to the Chargers. They will lose to the Ravens, lose to the Bengals, and lose to the Saints, beat the Buccaneers before losing to the Jets and losing to the Seahawks to finish at 4-13, well behind the Raiders, more than likely finishing last in the AFC West. Alright, the last team we're going to discuss today is the Los Angeles Chargers, who have hired Jim Harbaugh as their next head coach. Big expectations here for him. And for the Chargers, at home, I have them beating the Broncos, beating the Chiefs, beating the Raiders, beating the Ravens, beating the Bengals, beating the Saints, losing to the Buccaneers, but then beating the Titans to go 7-1 at home. On the road, I have the Chargers following up this performance with a loss to the Broncos before beating the Chiefs, beating the Raiders, beating the Falcons, beating the Panthers, beating the Browns, losing to the Steelers, beating the Patriots, and beating the Cardinals to go 14-3 and finish a whole 4 games higher than the Kansas City Chiefs. This roster had a lot of talent that was very underutilized. As long as they can retain that talent, Jim Harbaugh likely exploits that and gets a lot of talent out of this team and a lot of production out of this team to be very good. Alright, so if my predictions would come to fruition, my standings for the AFC West would start at the bottom with the Denver Broncos at 4-13, followed by the Raiders in third at 6-11, the Chiefs in second at 10-7, and the Chargers in first at 14-3. This division is definitely going to be up for grabs for anyone if anyone can get a stride going, but the Chiefs are looking at restructuring Mahomes' deal yet again to bring in more talent, which could be the big thing to stop the Chargers prediction from being right. Alright, well that is about going to do it for me today. If you guys did like, don't forget to smash like and subscribe, as it does help me out a whole lot. Words are hard, I know. But yeah, it helps me out a whole lot. And don't worry, I will get more videos out this week. I know I've been a little bit behind on the ball on this. It has been a bit of an interesting, chaotic, crazy time. But yeah, that's just how life goes. And I guess with that, make sure you check out the video down here. It's the rest of this series. So go ahead and check out all the other divisions. I've covered 6 of them. We'll have the NFC West later on this week. And with that, I will see you guys later. Peace out and have a good one.